Hey guys, so it's here bringing you another video. Today is a commentary on Lee Sin jungle using the format of a replay and then commentating over top. Now the reason for this commentary is that this guide, or this commentary, sorry, is in partnership with a guide that I'm in the process of making it. You watching it right now, the guide might already be out, so if it is, in the description below it will be linked. Now, if you're watching this before the guide, then I'm going to be talking about certain techniques that I will go in further in the guide, such as kicking, warding, or ward jumping, etc. So Lee Sin jungle has always been one of my favourite junglers in the game, and for several reasons. Basically, my opinion on Lee Sin is that he's a really good champion, but he's only as good as the player playing him. If you're a bad Lee Sin, then you're going to struggle. If you're a good Lee Sin, then you're going to exceed. He can be played every rating in the game, and if you're good with him, you can carry games. Now, there is kind of a small myth that Lee Sin is obviously very good in the early game, but a lot of people think that he's not very good in the late game, and I am, in my opinion, the complete opposite. He's very good in the early game, sure, he does a lot of damage, he can get good ganks in, but his late game for me is kind of what makes the champion. You know, his kicking, his flash kick, his ward kick, his utility of simply getting like the AD carry or the AP mid laner into the middle of the fight and just let them die instantly. That's what I love about him, and that's what you see players like Crumbs do. You know, Crumbs, the jungler for Dignitas, he was never, when I've watched him, he's never been somebody that like carries the early game on Lee Sin. He carries the late game or the mid to late game, and that's really good. So, jungle-wise, we are starting at the bottom of the map on these golems. Unfortunately, right now, Thresh is actually AFK, but from memory, he does appear in the next few moments. I never get why people go AFK in between loading screen and the game. Something must happen, I don't know what. Anyway, starting on the red buff. Now, every single time since I've played League of Legends, since the Skara video of him doing the Gromp over here and then walking into this bush and killing the jungler, every game since that I've watched that video, I have walked in this bush doing the red buff because I do not want to be caught out. You know, it's not a great thing to be done because then you're miles and miles behind. So let's go into team comps. So top lane for us is a Cassiopeia, myself, Lee Sin in the jungle, Orianna mid lane with a Jinx and Thresh bot lane. Enemy team is a Riven top lane, a Fiddlesticks jungle, a Wukong mid lane, and a Vayne Nami bot. So team comp wise, all I remember from this game is apparently the Wukong is something like the 35th best Wukong in the world, and I think the enemy mid laner, or R1, Orianna, got a bit scared of that because maybe they looked at LoL skill, I don't know. I'd always recommend not looking at like LoL skill because when you see that your opponent is like the 30th best Wukong in the world, that can kind of affect how you play. But anyway, doing my clear that I always do on Lee Sin when I start on blue side is double golems, red buff, blue buff, and then Gromp. After I've done them, I have around 500 gold, and then I go back and buy. Always, right now, and this is subject to change, I always buy the blue jungle item, which is obviously the smite on champions. Now, if you look into the gold tab, let's have a look. So yes, I actually nearly have 600 gold. So we'll quickly go back and buy, and therefore pick up some items, mainly the jungle item and some health potions. Now, Fiddlesticks, of course, I love Fiddlesticks, always have. I mained him in Season 1, I only played him in Season 1, and he's, of course, one of the best junglers right now. Basically, the reason for that is because he doesn't have a bad early game. Meanwhile, Cassiopeia actually gets first blood on Riven without losing any health. Cassiopeia is known as a counter in this lane, so I'm not really surprised. Anyway, I'm looking for a gank in the bot lane. There is a nice hook coming down. Jinx is positioning in such a way that she's trying to focus the Vayne. But realistically, if she focused the Nami, they may have actually picked up a kill on her, or at least got some summoners out. Instead, they split the damage and therefore got nothing for it. So I'm rotating around. I want to see if we can make something work. Nami, I don't know what she's doing. She took a very long time to ward that, so I'm just going a bit aggressive, dodge the bubble, and now all I want to do is pretend I'm leaving. But honestly, I'm not really leaving. Now, I had no idea they actually placed the ward here, so obviously they know I'm here now. And here we go, going for the dive. First blood for Jinx. Then we're going to rotate some tower aggro, and then I'm like, okay, we need to go back in, and here's where I make a small mistake in any second, and I whiff the Q. Unfortunate that I whiffed the Q, but we're still going to rotate the aggro really well. I go quite low, Jinx picks up the kill, and unfortunately goes down to a minion attack of all things. She survived the towers, but she died to a minion attack. But still, that is 2 kills for our AD carry. That's a lot of XP, that's a lot of gold, so that is actually definitely worth it. Meanwhile, Thresh was doing a couple of last hitting, making sure these minions are dying, so that overall is good. In that process, unfortunately, Cassiopeia went down due to a Fiddlesticks gank. And from memory in this game, as I did play it a couple of days ago, this Fiddlesticks somehow gains so much XP really, really fast. Yes, he is obviously 23 CS to my 10 right now, because it's a Fiddlesticks. He just farms like a crazy person in the early game, because he doesn't care about going low health. But still, I got 2 assists, that's a lot of XP for myself, but he is still miles and miles ahead of me in XP. So I'm going to probably hit level 5, soon, probably after the Wraith Camp if I do decide to do that. Now, as a jungler, one of the big things you've got to decide is where are you going to put your attention to? Now, right now, Wukong is putting a lot of pressure onto the Orianna. A lot. Now, I do decide to go for the kill. Unfortunately, the Wukong does flash on top of her face. He did use Ignite just before he flashed, and Orianna would not have died. Now, if I was that Orianna, I would have run away. There is no point being that close to Wukong, and she does pay with her life. That does allow me to pick up a kill, which is pretty good, but still, I would have preferred if Orianna survived, obviously. Picking up the chickens, now ding level 5. But Fiddlesticks is ganking at level 6 already. When I was playing this game live, this was actually live on stream, I was so confused. I was like, this guy is just completely owning me in XP. And, looking into it, yes, he's double my CS, so that is probably a very good explanation why. Meanwhile, top lane, there is a kill going again on the Riven. Cassiopeia, again, nearly full health. As mentioned, this is kind of a counter lane. And a lot of people say, what do I play against Riven? I really don't know. I can't beat her. Cassiopeia is actually a very good champion to play because it's constant damage. What Riven is very good at is she can duel you in a 1v1 against most things. Cassiopeia is a duelist, but she's a constant duelist. There's going to be constant damage coming out. Now, we're looking for a gank on this Wukong. Orianna's going fairly aggressive. There's a nice ultimate coming down. There's my smite coming down. And also a roam by Cassiopeia. And we do pick up the kill. So that, again, was a nice kill. I pick it up for myself. Arguably, I could have left it for Orianna, but he was already really close to tower range, so better not risk it. In the lower ratings, people will complain about if you take kills. In the higher ratings, honestly, nobody cares as long as it's a kill. Now, I was like, can I do this? Unfortunately not. If I had Smite, it would have been easy, but I used, obviously, Smite on the Wukong for extra damage, true damage, etc. So I have to go back before I actually do it, which is unfortunate. Now, in the bot lane, Jinx, from memory, this Jinx was a main Jinx, I believe, and obviously she's against a Vayne. Now, I am a massive fan of Jinx. I think she's a great AD carry. I think she can do well against everything. The only problem with her is obviously she can get caught out very, very easily because, she doesn't have a jump, she doesn't have anything. But if a Jinx gets ahead, then it's a very dangerous thing because her damage is absolutely insane. Now, Fiddlesticks is looking for a gank over here. It says he has a vision thing on him, but I believe that's a spectator's bug, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. And again, Cassiopeia picks up a 1v1 kill on the Riven. She does go a little bit lower in health, but nonetheless, she picks up the kill. So Wukong looks to go fairly aggressive. I think this Orianna is near to death. Wow, that was actually a very good fiddle play. He used ultimate and flashed instantly, like literally instantly. So I am, again, looking for something in bot lane, looking if I can get a gank. Meanwhile, mid has died, unfortunately. But I remember from this game, this Fiddlesticks was very loose in using his ultimate and then just flashing straight away. Without any hesitation, he'd literally just ult flash every time. Which is, it's hard to deal with, So, anyway, again, I'm going to look for a bot lane gank. Going to try and make something happen here because I want my goal and my, every jungle game have a plan. Who do you want to get fed? Why do you want to get them fed? Now, this was amazing timing. Like, that ward just ran out as like a second before I walked in. There's a ward in this bush, which is lasting, I'd guess, another 5-10 seconds. So the enemy knows I'm hit. I did not know this. This is the first time I'm knowing this. So what happens now actually really confuses me. Okay, so they lose vision. But what Nami's about to do, again, confuses me because she probably knows I'm here. So I go for just a simple insect kick straight into the likes of the Jinx and the Thresh. That was a really nice play, free kill, etc. And again, nice hook. So they're going to continue going for the kill. At this point, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm nowhere near. So Jinx does go aggressive, and there's another double kill for Jinx. So that's a really nice play. Getting this Jinx very, very fed. And again, that was my goal, especially in the early game. And yeah, that was a nice insect kick. So, you know, that was something I did well, I guess, in this early game. So Fiddlesticks, again, he's level 8. Meanwhile, I'm level 6. You know. Oh, no, I'm level 8, sorry. But from memory, I stay around level 8 for a while. And then I think he actually might go ahead in XP. Now, again, I missed it. But, again, 100% of the time, he has ultimate up. He's going to use it. And he went to mid lane with combination with Wukong ult equals a dead Orianna. Orianna still has both her summoners and her ultimate. So she had no time to react at all. She simply just died. Simply because Orianna is dying a lot. It's not her fault. I don't think she's playing terribly. Like, she's even on CS and she's died 3 times. So that is a good thing, I guess. But I don't want to give someone blue who's actually dying often. So I'm now looking for a kill onto this river. And I'm just going to flank to the back line and simply just, like, flash onto that. Or not, you know, Q onto that. Then just kick. Just get the damage down. And then Cassiopeia should be able to finish it off. There we go. So now Cassia's on a killing spree. Free kill for myself. And hey presto, that's even more gold. So there is quite a lot of them coming top lane. You see Wukong here, and you actually see Fiddlesticks is coming too. If I was this Cassiopeia, I would be kind of suspicious due to no Wukong in mid lane. But right now, she could probably all in this guy. She does use Ignite on the wrong target, unfortunately. But there is also a Fiddlesticks in the area. So she might be able to get away. Unfortunately, they do get onto her. Wukong flashes out, and they do get a shutdown. So I am now in the bottom lane. Orianna, very ballsy, just started the dragon when she saw Fiddlesticks top. Doing it by herself. And she nearly killed it, honestly. Like, she did a lot of damage to it, and hey, we got a free dragon. So that's pretty good. So again, gonna try and look for a bot lane play. Unfortunately, I go up. If I went down, that was probably a kill. But let's see if we can make something happen. I remember this point that I was trying to get a kick on the Vayne, and here is where I went extremely greedy, and I just died for free. Like, completely died for free. That was such a bad mistake of mine, and it was the greed of trying to get a good kickoff. So Thresh does pick up the kill. Unfortunately, I think Jinx saw Wukong a bit too late, so she also does go down. But yeah, what you've got to kind of realize when you're playing Lee Sin, and this is something, again, I've just recently picked Lee Sin up again, because I had a break from him from quite a while, is you don't have to always get a kick in. You know, if I queued the Vayne or, you know, something along those lines, or just do damage to them, then I probably would have survived, and we might have, you know, killed the Vayne instead. Now, Riven seems to have the reactions of a dead fish, as she had plenty of time to rotate over for the Thresh and didn't even move. So that was really bad by the Riven. She hasn't been playing well, obviously being 1-4, so maybe she's just having a bad game. And Fiddlesticks also picks up a kill on Cassiopeia. 1-on-1. This Fiddlesticks, I have to give it to him. He did play very well this game. He was very strong. He was making stuff happen. If you look into the last hitting, he is absolutely owning me. And that is because I'm not, as a Lee Sin, I'm not really focusing last hitting, obviously. But in saying that, neither is the Fiddle. He's just getting last hits by being in the right area. Now, they do have a ward deep in our jungle, which obviously I didn't know about. The red buff, I do remember from this game, and I was streaming this game, and it was fairly weird. There were times that the buff said it was up, and then it wasn't. And that happened both with this red buff, and it happened with the blue buff later on in the game. That on the minimap, it said it was up. Go there, it's not there. Don't know why, maybe a small bug, but oh well. So the game right now, it's looking okay. The enemy are actually ahead in gold, even though, you know, we're 1 kill ahead. And that simply will probably because the gold difference between myself and Fiddlesticks, I would imagine. So we actually can look into the gold tab. So there is a big gold difference of 1,500 gold in top lane. There is a fairly big difference of 1,000 gold in the jungle. That is simply due to last hitting. And in mid lane, there is again a big difference of 1,600 gold or 1,500-ish. Bot lane, Again, 1,000 gold difference, and then supports are relatively even with only about 100. So this game is a lot of like different roles. Some roles are more powerful, some roles are weaker. Now there is a potential fight going to happen in the mid lane shortly. If I was me, you know, watching this replay, I don't really remember, but I would think that I'd try and group with my team or potentially look for top lane pick or something along them lines. Riven is extremely weak right now. Like she's a level behind, or she's like equal level to a jungler when she's a laner, which is not a good thing to have. So the problem with the enemy team, like right now, like that Vayne would kill that Jinx one-on-one quite easily. You know, it's a Vayne. The problem is if we put a lot of time in mid lane, meanwhile Cassiopeia is about to ult into the Riven. Unfortunately, she doesn't do enough burst damage simply because the item build is all at mana and not really damage orientated. And there is also a team fight coming down, so I do have vision on the Wukong. I kick him away simply. Fiddlesticks again, ult flash every single time, and he simply just dies for it because he doesn't have Zhonya's yet. And that was pretty good. That's 2 free kills. As I was saying in bot lane though, if we put a lot of time into mid lane and Vayne stays bot lane, that is actually a very big advantage for the enemy team, especially if we don't get anything for it. Now again, that was the time that the blue buff said it was up. Orianna and myself went over to it, and it was like, the blue buff's up, and then it wasn't up, and then it spawns a few seconds after, which was odd. It was really weird. But I don't know. Maybe, again, it's a small bug. Not really sure. So Cassiopeia is trying to get the mid tower. Again, we're trying to get some pressure. Now, as again, if we look into or go into the mindset of a jungler, is what do I want to do right now in this game? What will be useful, etc. Now, going into the item build, if you do watch the guide before or after this video, you'll be like, what's with my item build? Now, the standard item build on Lee Sin that I do mention is the jungling item, Sightstone, and then tier 2 boots. I don't opt for that build this game, every build is situational. You don't have to just stay to the build, 100%. And this game, I was like, I don't actually think I need to have Sightstone early. I do eventually get it, obviously, because it's an amazing item. Meanwhile, in mid lane, there is a little bit of damage coming down. I do smite him. I love the smite, by the way. It's really good. Now, what I did there was pretty fancy. If you want to go back and watch it again, feel free. But basically what I did was use one of the kick techniques. And one of them kick techniques is you ult and then flash after it. And then whatever way you flash behind the person, it will react in that way. So that was a rather fancy play. It was, rather advanced, and it was a free kill. The reason I did it, some people say I didn't actually need to use the flash there. I thought Fiddlesticks was going to be in the area, and we also did have a ward, so we did have vision of him. So just kill him instantly, just get him back to the Orianna because he was trying to run away. She did a bit more damage, and we do pick up the kill, so that was pretty nice. But as I was saying, every build is situational. I do build Sightstone later in the game, but this game, the enemy is coming to me. I don't need to go pick people who are coming to me. The Riven's going to be in the middle of a team fight. The Fiddlesticks is going to jump on top of me. The Wukong's going to jump on top of me. The only person I could potentially want Sightstone for is really the Vayne, or if we are looking for certain picks. Now, my team is grouping in mid lane. There is a very, obviously, weak Riven off to the side. She's not going to offer a lot. And I will say, and I feel, if you're a Riven main or if you're a Riven player, don't take this the wrong way, but I do actually feel a certain satisfaction of when Rivens do bad, because people play them for a specific reason. Now, Orianna, I think she went really cocky there, as in, you're not going to go on me, and Riven just completely abused that point and just killed her. Straight out just killed her. Flashed on top of her, used Ignite, nobody picked up an assist, nobody expected it, and Orianna paid for that. Orianna, again, didn't have a great game, it seems. Nice hook, but I do believe, flash and heal going out there. So this team fight could potentially go well for us. You have to remember that we do have kiting power. There comes the Tidal Waven by Nami. And here we go. So we're going to try. I'm just going to try and protect the Jinx the best I can right now. Here's Cassiopeia in the fight. There's a Fiddlesticks in the middle of us. He uses Zhonya, but this is probably going to be a free kill. I go for the ultimate kill, but actually Jinx gets it. So that is completely fine. Again, going to move in, or I'm going to go probably just protect people, protect the Cassiopeia, shield her, and continue going with Jinx, and she does pick up a quadra kill. So, Jinx is extremely fed. That's really good. That was a good team fight. And we didn't even have Orianna. she died for free. We didn't have Orianna ult in that or anything. So that, again, is a really good sign of this game will go well. But as I was saying about Sightstone, just wrapping up the point, is that, again, that teamfight showed they are all coming to me. Even the Vayne mispositioned terribly in that fight, coming way into melee range, and Cassiopeia just picked her up. So yes, I will get it eventually when I want to look to do fancier plays or look to do insect kicks and stuff like that. But at this stage of the game, I don't think I need it, so I didn't build it. That simple. Anyway, Orianna does go for all in on the Vayne. She does pick her up one-on-one, which is actually a very good sign. This Orianna has not been having a good game, but if she can still pick up the enemy Vayne, then I'm pretty happy, honestly. So the gold difference is actually now in our favour of about 5,000 gold, which is good. Baron is up now, but I don't see us doing that anytime really soon. Obviously, the one thing I do want to say about this commentary is this patch, I believe, is 4.21. In the next few days or weeks, there is going to be a new patch coming out that can change the jungle a little bit, and that is the double smite. For those of you who are unaware, there is a mechanic coming into the game that basically is a double smite feature that allows you to hold 2 smites at any one time, but not using one within 15 seconds of the other. Now look how weak this Riven is. Like, she is extremely weak. I'd pick her up 1v1 really easily, but I do get the kill, but there's 2 assists added on to the kill there, which is really nice. Jinx is looking for the Nami kill, and kaboom, she gets it. So that, again, is really nice, free gold. And I was doing this crab, but then I was like, hang on, I need to be mid lane because I don't want this Jinx to die. So I just leave the crab and just simply run to mid. But yeah. So as I was saying, the 2 smite thing, it can change the jungle a bit. Now, I do actually believe it is a indirect buff to junglers like Lee Sin, or even Kha'Zix might come back, because they have struggled a little bit in the early game, and especially junglers that you tend to build the Stalker's Blade on. There's always the dilemma of, do I use it on a champion, or do I use it on Baron, do I use it on Dragon, etc. But having 2 of them will mean, oh, I can smite the Dragon, and I can smite a player, which is actually a really nice change. So we go for Baron right now. Rather ballsy, but we get it really quickly. The Jinx does extreme damage. The Cassiopeia does extreme damage to Baron. And pick it up for free. Cassiopeia does stay in the area, which I think is risky. How much gold does she have? She does have 1,400 gold. So she could go back and get her tier 2 boots, etc. But one thing about her item build, it's not actually a very damage-orientated item build. She's not going to be doing extreme amounts of damage because of it. It's a Rod of Ages. Well, it's a scaling item, and I believe it's at max stacks. And then a Ryle's. Like, you're going kind of tanky Cassiopeia, which is okay, but you're not really going to be dealing any damage. Now, I'm in mid lane against the Wukong. I'm the same level as the Wukong, so I have managed now, finally, to catch up in XP. Same level as the Fiddlesticks, etc. But yeah, I was behind in XP for quite some time. As mentioned, I was at level 8 for a very long time, which is really, really not good. Now, Riven does manage to get away. Obviously, the enemy team right now know that we have Baron. I was in mid lane against the Wukong, etc. And now I'm looking to just pick off the Riven in a easy kill. Use the smite. I like using the smite, by the way, right at the start of getting the kill, because it slows them, and I believe it makes you do more damage or something along them lines. Reducing the movement speed for 2 seconds, deal 40.5 additional magic damage, monsters, oh, well, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, there is a bad team fight happening in mid lane. I do go for the kill onto the Wukong, but arguably that wasn't the best thing to do. I do try to get away, use flash, and then, I don't know. There's not much I can do at this point. Everybody's dead apart from Cassiopeia. There's a flash from Fiddlesticks. I was looking for this camp, but it is dead, so that's why I couldn't actually queue to it, unfortunately. But yeah, that wasn't great. That's my team getting a bit caught out. Cassiopeia, again, has to be careful. She does go for an all-in, but that fear basically wrecks her. And she's looking to try and kill her. Very close, and she does get the kill. That level up just saved her life. She leveled up by killing the Vayne, and I do believe that would have killed her if she didn't level up there. So, whew, that was close. So this stage of the game is kind of in its wrapping up stages. You know, we kind of look for kind of just good team fights, look for picks, and now this is when we want to start attacking their base. You know, we had the Baron, but we wasted it. We got the gold from it, sure, we got the XP, but we completely wasted it as we went for a pick on the Riven in top lane. We got it. But meanwhile, in mid, my team got caught out, you know, in uneven numbers, and they just died for free. So that means all the Baron buffs are gone, and we don't really have any splitting power, because obviously that's what, or pushing power, because that's what the new Baron buff gives, is pushing power for minions. Now again, Dragon is up, so I'm going to just simply run over there and potentially do it. Unfortunately, Jinx going alone does actually find a Wukong. And again, a big tip, when you're against things that use a invisibility, always E first, because it's an area of effect, area of effect vision seer type thing. So Jinx does survive, which is good. I don't know why Wukong backed off going for the kill. You know, if I was him, I probably would have just gone for it, and we do end up picking up the dragon, which is good. In mid lane, my team had a bit of a trade where our Orianna is dead, where the Wukong, Nami, and Riven are dead for the enemy team. So I'm just going to push bot lane right now. I don't think my team are in that much trouble, hopefully, in mid lane, unless Fiddlesticks gets in a wonderful ult on them. And he is going for it, and that is actually a very good ultimate. Yep, that happened. That was a really good ultimate by him. He got all three of them perfectly, and a 2v3, Vayne gets a triple kill. So again, that is the power one of Fiddlesticks. You know, Vayne didn't win that fight, Fiddlesticks did. And that's what can happen pretty much all the time. So I'm looking here is that Vayne is kind of lowish health, or I thought she was. She's looking for Dragon, but it's already dead. So I'm in this bush going, uh-oh. So I'm going to look to back, but this minion, it gets pushed into the bush, so it has vision of me. So I'm just going to try and run away from the Wukong at this point and be like, see ya. So I do get away, which is good. But that's annoying that that minion walked into the bush and gave vision of herself. So yeah. Anyway, again, Orianna looking potentially for a kill onto the Vayne one-on-one. She does have to be careful. She hasn't really landed fantastic ults so far. You know, as an Orianna player myself, I've been playing a lot of her. I'd recommend a lot of people just to be more patient in their ults. A lot of people just use it straight away and miss, like, a target, or could have used it on 3 people where you only use it on once. Now, unfortunately, again, Orianna, I don't get the thought process of being that deep in the enemy territory. She should survive with that ultimate, but again, it's a weird thought process that she has, but it is good that she did survive. So again, now I have finally picked up my Sightstone. This will allow me to look for insect kicks and give myself more mobility in team fights, which is good. You know, my score being 7-11, I am fairly powerful at this stage of the game. Comparing to the Fiddlesticks, who of course had a wonderful early game. His early game was fantastic, but he's only been involved in 11 kills, where I've been involved in 19. So there's a big difference there. I've managed to transition in the mid game as much more of a team player, much more of a useful team member than the Fiddlesticks. Although I would probably argue he does way more damage than myself if he gets a good ult off. The thing is, what we've got to stop is the ultimate. We've got to thresh hook him to stop it or anything like that. So I don't know why Wukong positioned in the way he did there. He let me get behind him, which honestly was just a free kill. And again, the Vayne's positioning here is terrible. She's just ran straight into an enemy team. We're continuing, and there is a big Fiddlesticks ult. And he dies instantly. He couldn't even get the Zhonya's off. Therefore, we get a free team fight. Nobody dies. And again, that, to me, was weird positioning by the Wukong. He jumped on me, sure, but he let me position in a way that I could just simply kick. I didn't even have to use a ward. I just simply went behind him, kicked him into my team, which is fairly risky in itself. You know, you're kicking a Wukong who's an AoE, you know, spins around into your team, but he did manage to die pretty much instantly, which was good. So we're looking potentially to close out the game here, but unfortunately, Orianna just whiffed her ultimate, and we're trying to attack the base. Unfortunately, Cassiopeia is going for split damage on champions. She does pick up the Wukong, but if she was auto-attacking the Nexus at this point, the game would be over. Unfortunately, she does go for a kill, and the game is not over. So there is probably a few minutes left in this match. But overall, this match has been fairly entertaining. I did do several good kicks. Obviously, there was one in the bot lane on the Nami, which was the ward kick. And then obviously we had the one in mid lane, which was the flash, or the ult kick with flash. So that, yeah, we've had several good points in this game. Now, the Baron is up. Now, for me, the Cassiopeia really shouldn't be in this area. At least, you know, don't even try to contest the Baron, because they're probably going to do it for free. But from memory, she's very low health, but she does go for it. Again, she's really not going to do much damage. Now, she dies for free. You can see her ultimate did nothing. Like, that build, I do believe, is not very good. It does sustain damage, but Cassio, you kind of want to get some burst in there, and we really have none. So again, Orianna is potentially looking for something. The enemy do pick up Baron buff, which is a bit worrying. The enemy team, you know, are a very strong late game team. Arguably, we are as well. But comparing damage to damage, the Wukong against Orianna, the Orianna will do more damage than the Wukong because Wukong falls off. But the Lee Sin to the Fiddlesticks, Fiddle's going to do way more damage than me in a team fight. Riven is going to do a lot of damage. They have just far more damage. So there is a team fight going off. I'm going to try and get a good kickoff, etc. So there is a nice hook by him. I also kick him in the middle of my team. But unfortunately, Wukong gets a nice flank off and he does go down. But my team are extremely, extremely low. So this team fight is going okay. Riven is looking for blood. She doesn't manage to pick anything off. But then there's a Vayne in the area, which is unfortunate for us. We didn't have Cassiopeia in this team fight, which I think made the difference. But again, they are relatively low. It's unfortunate that they didn't go down. But again, it was a nice hook by Thresh, cancelling the Fiddlesticks ult. And because, again, always trust yourself, I kicked the Fiddlesticks over this wall into my team, hoping he'd die instantly. And he didn't. He did die, but he didn't die instantly. And it was basically because the Wukong, who was over here, he flanked around this bush and then ended up on my Orianna and Jinx. But they did end up killing him. So Dragon is up in about 5 seconds. Cassiopeia is heading over there. And finally, she's starting to build some big AP items. She has 590 AP, which is a decent amount. What you have to imagine is the enemy team is all AD apart from Fiddlesticks. And he's obviously got 350 AP. But it is a Fiddlesticks who scales, you know, very well with AP. His damage is extremely high, etc. So the enemy are looking for this dragon. I don't believe they actually have a dragon buff right now. Hence why they probably want one. So me and my team rotate over, ready to try and do it. We are going to try and look for a kill. That was a nice Orianna roll. I do kick them straight into each other, which does allow the Cassiopeia poison to finish off the Wukong. Team fight coming in. There is a Vayne's. GA has been popped. Jinx isn't even in this team fight yet, and now she is. So now we can go aggressive again and now look for the final pick of the game. Orianna over to the top of the screen just picked off the Riven. Really big crits coming out of the Jinx, and that will probably be the game. I'm looking just to maybe pick up the Nami, but after a little while I'm like, whatever. I don't need you. So we're just going to go for the Nexus. It is completely open right now, and that is going to be this match. So again, was a fairly decent match. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about the mindset of Lee Sin and seeing the kicks in practice. You know, in the guide, I show you how to do them, but this showed you 2 of the techniques at least in actual practice. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you haven't watched the guide, again, when it is released, it will be in the description below. And that is it. So hopefully, again, you have a fun time in solo queue. Good luck in Season 5, and I'll see you guys next time. So, goodbye.